Our sponsors for this episode are Hall's Tree Service. Locally owned and operated, Hall's Tree Service has been exceeding and surpassing customer demands in Newton and the surrounding area for over 40 years. Larry and his crew are guaranteed to work hard for you. There's no tree too tall, no job too small. Call Hall's at 316-772-1919. Absolute drain. Look, no one, and I mean no one, likes it when their sink, bathtub, washing machine, or especially their toilets start backing up. It's even worse when they won't drain or flush at all. No matter who you are, it happens to us all. If this is happening to you, then you need to give Garth with Absolute Drain a call. Absolute Drain is located at 420 West Broadway in Newton and has been faithfully serving Newton and surrounding areas for longer than I can even remember. I personally use Absolute Drain, and they have kept my pipes cleaned out and flowing day one. It might just be time for you to give them a call too at 316-283-7264. The Newton Kansan is Newton's longest-running local newspaper covering all the stories, people, places, and things happening in our community. Chad Fry, the Kansan guy, editor of the Kansan, works diligently to ensure integrity, accuracy, and unbiased news is delivered to your doorstep 3 times a week for an unbeatable price. You can also sign up for online-only access for around $7 a month. That's 12 online papers a month for only $7. If you've not subscribed, it's time you do. Visit them in their office at 517 North Main Street. That's 517 North Main Street in Newton. Online at thekansan.com. That's thekansan.com. Or give them a call at 316-283-1500. That's 316-283-1500. Support local journalism, support the Kansan. Well, everybody, welcome to this HC Talk podcast. As always, I'm your host, Lance Gormley, and once again, my special guest, and I just say you're a staple of the podcast here. I don't even know if I can call you a guest. I kind of look at it like this is our podcast, but there is some stuff that's said that Andy probably does not want to take ownership of.
And vice versa.
So you're my guest, Andy.
Right
you'll always be the guest, right?
I'm not taking any responsibility for his mouth.
right. Lawsuits incoming, that's his podcast, not mine. Allegedly, right? Okay, so, for anybody that's listening to the program, we talked quite a bit in depth last week about just political rhetoric and idiocracy, and even touched a little bit about how Andy would vote different on a certain constitutional measure than I would, and hopefully that was a good example of how we can have these conversations and it doesn't split us apart, right?
Right.
But one thing that I can say, I want to revisit this a little bit this week on the program about political rhetoric and propaganda and what people consume and how they consume it and everything else, and just kind of get a little bit more of your insight and how you feel and what you see, because obviously as we get closer to this election, which is just a primary, it seems to be really... the propaganda wars are being fought. We'll just say that. Missiles, nuclear bombs are going off. I see here locally. I've never seen anything like this. But just with that, I want to get right into it, Andy. And, have you, and I think it's impossible for anybody at this point in time to have not seen, but have you seen some of this messaging that's going out here locally with our local people?
I have. It's pretty interesting, right? There's just, people on YouTube, which some people that watch us there. It's one of our many mediums. There's those commercials that come up in between the paid for ads, right? And I get to see, and they're trying to zero in, I think, on messages that I think they think is working better, which is interesting to see. I wonder what their data looks like on the back end.
Right.
But they're spending a bunch of cash to hit our area, geo-fencing it, target marketing the voters of this district. And I think the ads are pretty interesting, actually. And I know I hear some Trump stuff in there and some other keywords and things that, liberal reporter and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's a liberal environment for sure. I mean, in certain spaces, but that doesn't mean everybody in it is that way. Just like I was on the school board, right? But I guess I'm a liberal now because I was on the school board, including Eric. There's people that serve right now that are the darlings of the right that were on school boards, but I'm the one that's liberal.
Right.
And so this, I think, gets into some of the conversation that me and you wanted to have, which is how do we open up in our community the conversation about the hypocrisy, once again, we're going to talk about in messaging, when it just meets your needs. And so therefore this person's okay when Ty Masterson's for wind energy.
Right.
And that's bad, but now he's good.
Yes.
Because of the situation that the messaging wants to push on this side. Who controls that? Where's it coming from? And is it a local issue?
Yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately, I think it's an individual issue, right? So to say messaging and what we're going to discuss, in my opinion, is that it's an individual thing, because when we go to consume information, whatever that information is, right? I'll make a funny here. Okay.
For the record, wind energy is pretty horrible.
Right.
You really break that down.
Well,
but
and like
anyways,
data centers. Okay.
Just for the record,
we'll even go with data centers. Okay. So
that's a big one.
I saw. I'm in agreement with you. I think everybody can say that right now there is no way that if your eyes are open and your ears, you're not deaf, you're either seeing and hearing some kind of political messaging, either for or against, or and then it even has the ability to put you in, like, I'm getting Republican ads. I'm not getting anything Democratic ads. I'm not getting any Democratic candidates. Okay, so then what that is that's built a profile on us, and it's targeted us. It knows how you're registered. It knows who you vote. Type of thing. So,
well, it also tells you that the Democratic side doesn't have to spend anything right now.
Right.
Because there's not in our area, there's no primary on that side.
Correct. Which is a difference from the past, because in the past they just didn't run anybody, right? So there's a progression there. I got to take my hat off to the Democrat Party here locally in Harvey County, because I've seen them evolve and change and get boots on the ground and give people the ability to participate. And I think that they have a bigger tent than the Republican Party does right now. And I see, once again, it's like I made a comment. I did have somebody that wanted to argue with me about my comments last week about how I said the future of Kansas looks more Democratic or leaning towards the Democrat Party than it does the Republicans, because younger people are coming up and they're leaning either more centrist or more what we would consider liberal, but not really liberal, just liberal from a certain demographic that currently sees themselves as a conservative. Okay, so I want to do a little funny here. Okay, if you've seen any of this stuff, all right, it's all the same. It's so stereotypical. It's all the same. I've seen clips about people that just make fun of political campaign ads. But can I do a little role playing here with you, Andy?
Yeah,
okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so let me do my best bet at a political campaign ad that is similar to probably what you heard, except for Andy's going to be in one seat and I'm going to be in the other. Okay, Andy is from Mexico, and Andy came here possibly illegally. And Andy wants to allow for illegal immigrants to come across the border and to steal our money and to take what our children rightfully deserve and give it to those that don't deserve it. He is the worst scoundrel that you'll ever meet a day in your life. He's a liberal. He is against conservatism, and he is against Trump.
Maybe, probably. It's very possible.
Right.
So, the possibles and the maybes, I've seen these sprinkled along these ads. It's I have one sitting on my counter right now, and people read right past those words.
Yes, they do. And then the who's it paid for, right? They read past that too.
Yeah.
Now here's
they like you.
Here's the second part of the ad, right? And generally speaking, that's the majority of the ad. And then, demonize the other person. And then but Lance is running against Andy, and he is a white Christian man with a family, and he will protect you from Andy and all the dirty, illegal people that want to come here and rape your women and steal your children and take your money. Vote Lance Cormier.
That was pretty good.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's
dude.
pretty good.
It's ridiculous. It's horrible.
It sounds national. It sounds canned.
Oh man,
it sounds boring. As we
it does.
Sounds
Lock
like
your doors, Andy, because this liberal reporter wrote an article that says that he wants illegal immigrants here and that he didn't vote for Trump and he's against Trump's border wall. But the reality is, if you actually stop and you go read the article, which would take 2 minutes of your time, then what you realize is, what in the hell are they
interesting
talking
circumstance about? Oh, that's what that was about.
What are you even talking
interesting
about?
When you have a little context.
Right. Like, how do you get that from that?
Oh, all day. They do it all day.
All day long. And they pay money and they pay money and they pay. I mean, it's going to shape up, I promise, that when all the chips are down and the election is over and all of this campaign finance reporting is in and all of these PACs have to put forth, and we actually see the amount of money that's been spent by political action committees outside of our community to influence an election within our community, it's going to blow your mind. Absolutely going to blow your mind. I have no doubt, folks. I have no doubt. And you know, these whole things are designed in order to be able to you know, be lucrative and only have to report at this time and then not at this time. And it's like, you know, you can let's gear these laws to where, well, up to this date, which might be a week and a half before an election, we got to report, but then we don't have to report.
So one of the things I want to do, no matter how this goes, is I want to take both candidates, no matter who wins or loses, and I want to break down where all that money came from for both candidates. And I want to know the percentage of income that was spent inside our district versus outside. Just like what happened with Massey.
Right.
And how they got him out of office.
Right.
Because he was pissing people off and holding the line that most Americans want us to hold, our people to hold the line on.
Right. And hypocrisy. Let's talk some hypocrisy. You know, because I've run for election before.
No,
whatever,
you have?
know? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I have. And all its glorious wonder. It's been that a few different times. But I just want to recall back to a situation that I experienced firsthand. Right. Experience that I had was that I was running in an election, a local election. And there was, you know, you get, when you run for election, you fill out all these flyers to see if, you know, you agree one way or the other, how you feel about certain things. And then that organization can either support or not. Many instances, it's just, hey, you know, we support this person, other than just telling people that we support them, you know, type of a thing. Then there's nothing that comes with that. So I, along with the other individuals that were running in this specific election, filled out, you know, a form, and then all got a call and were asked, you know, how they felt on a certain topic or certain topics, and the phone call was over. And from there, then, without my knowledge, without my approval, whatever the case may be, they endorsed me. Red PAC was the organization,
yep.
And then they sent out, you know, $17,000, almost $18,000 worth of messaging,
right.
Mailers, text message, the whole thing,
yep.
In order to try to get who they supported elected. I can remember the pushback was phenomenal on this, right?
Weren't they liberal at the end of the day? A liberal group?
Actually, no. They're just more...
No, that's what they were saying.
Yeah. This liberal
they
group.
were a hidden liberal group that was funding.
Oh, hidden liberal group tried to support Lance to get the liberal elected. And but even though I'm like crazy. The farthest thing from liberal, and all these people that are reading this messaging know, because I had been involved in different things throughout the course of being a community activist and being involved in politics.
You were the front leader on our pro-life campaigns and out in front with no support.
No support. No.
You were literally with one other guy at one point in front of a mob of people.
Yeah, and we say that, I might get bashed all over the internet again, you know? love it.
But is it true?
It's the truth. So then, you know, it was, liberal. I'm a liberal. We don't want outside PACs trying to influence our local elections. Vote for the other person, because we don't want these outside PACs involving, you know, this and that.
And then what happens now?
Right. Which is, well, the PACs are okay, because, well, we're good. We're glad that these PACs are supporting one candidate over another. Spend as much money as you can. We need to get this person elected. So it's like, okay, so PACs influence. Let me get this right here. PACs influencing local elections, bad. Okay? Now, PACs influencing local elections, good.
It's real.
Yes. Okay. Here, let me go with another one. Here we go with another one. Okay, because I saw this ad that came out. We see a lot of ads for one particular candidate running for governor, Ty Masterson. Okay, so there are some political action committees that are absolutely supporting Ty Masterson.
Yeah.
Right. And anyway, I find it fascinating.
There's some against too.
Right. Some against too.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating because one of the things that Ty Masterson is for is, we'll call it clean energy. Right,
yeah.
But has been,
He's taking a stance on that.
Yeah, right. Like, and I think he looks at it like economic development and private property rights, and individuals being able to negotiate with an electric company on their
Sounds
property.
like he's not towing the line.
Well, but here's this. Okay, windmills, bad. Don't vote for a candidate that supports windmills and solar power. Bad. But now, support a candidate that is obviously done that. It's good. Explain this to me. I mean, I guess
this is good.
Where's the? I go back to the psychology, and really, honestly,
and both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans do it.
Yes,
it's that disease that we're trying to talk about. I think, and I think most of us feel it, but the average citizen like myself, that's not entrenched in politics day by day, they know something's up. They just don't put their finger on it. Something don't feel right. Right. I had a buddy I talked to a couple days ago. I rolled up to his property. He's leaving town. Wanted to say, hey, check in on my pops, and here's the things that I got to do just in case he's not able to come out and do it. Here's how it works. Might have to do it a few times while I'm gone. Great. So what are you thinking about this election? I know you're closer to it than me.
Right.
You know, he's running a business.
I had a few of those myself.
He's operating a farm.
Got his head down.
He's
on the grind.
He's a good dude.
Right.
One of the best neighbors you'll ever have. The dude is bulletproof. If I call him right now, he will drop what he's doing to try to get here if it was reasonable.
Right.
Even a little bit very uncomfortable for him. He'll never tell me, but he'll try to get here.
Right.
Just a great human being, right? Good to my family, and I try to be the best I can for him, even though he's done a lot more for me than I could do for him. So just being straight. Anyway, so we got into this conversation, and he said, yeah, I was watching, and these things keep popping up on my YouTube while I'm working. I have it on in the background, you know, and I'm welding, TIG welding, listening to these YouTube channels, and these ads pop in the middle. And one of them was about Stavola being against amnesty, and what the hell does he have to do with Trump and amnesty? And I said, well, how do you see that? Tell me more. Why do you? He goes, something just doesn't feel right about that. It's too much. And I was like, well, tell me more. Because I was curious on how he was looking at it, because I get too close sometimes too, even though I'm trying to stay out of the fire.
Right.
I can't help myself, I guess, or the people around me don't allow me to help myself. But I was just listening to him in awe that he understands
the message.
Something's up.
Yes.
And he goes, and he doesn't know the game.
Right.
He goes, I have not seen one bad ad from this Stavola guy against Avery. And for that reason alone tells me something's up. And I just don't like that. And and not knowing what the other argument would be of what's going on door to door, kneecap to kneecap, some of the other hodgepodge, the website link that he never saw or found, and the other stuff on the other one. Right? There's some more stuff out there. He's not hip to it. He just had a feeling from those mailers. So I think that could actually be a backfire.
Yes.
That there's a lot of people that are seeing that, and they're going, something don't feel right. And I actually know somebody that knows Stavola because they serve with him and he's involved in the community. And that doesn't sound right.
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me. And there's people that know him that have served with him in this community or volunteered with the kids and the youth that go, that's the furthest thing from true.
Right.
About how he sees the world.
And I would say,
so I think it's an interesting play.
It is because I can concur with what you're saying, seeing it in real time, but yet now, because I talked to an individual specifically that I know that has been a supporter of me in the past, God bless their heart.
Yeah.
They decided that they wanted to switch from supporting Stavola because of all of the hate mail that they were getting, that they just got so sick and tired of, and it doesn't make any sense, to the other person because Avery went to their doorstep and told them, but he said something naughty about me first. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're revealing something to me that I find just absolutely fascinating. But since they don't know how it works, right? So I'm like, wait a second. So you were in one camp, and this was a great conversation. Like it was I'm not losing any sleep over the deal. If a man wants to change his vote, change your vote. I get it. I just wanted to understand so that way I could unpack where they're coming from, right?
Right.
So it was, well, I didn't like all of the nasty hate mail that was coming out against Stavola, so I was going to vote for Stavola. But then Avery came and he stood on my porch and he told me that well, I didn't do all of this. Okay, now understand how this is worded. I did not do all of this. I did not send out any kind of hate mail to or about Stavola until he started doing it to me. So he started it first. And that's why I'm doing it now.
And allegedly this is coming from a person. No, the person that you were talking to said Avery said this.
This is what Avery said, right? So then I'm like, that's really interesting because, well, last I checked, I haven't seen anything that Avery Anderson himself has put out like that. It's all been political action.
Right, that's true.
And then I'm sitting there thinking, well, wait a second, isn't there some laws or ethics where so out of this individual's mouth, so they say, came what Avery said, then makes me wonder, well, is there something going on here?
But could a campaign manager, and they can, talk to the political action committees, and they can.
They can.
So so there's a degree of separation, but we all know how this really works.
Right.
I mean, take the pants off, right? Come on, man. I mean, I get sick and tired of the dancing around, but we all know what's going on.
That goes back to the laws and everything that's made that we've talked about before.
How do you control it?
You don't, because
it's
what they want is they want their people. They want as much opportunity. Okay, another thing. I interviewed Michael Stavola. Interviews coming soon. One of the things that he mentioned on the program was that. And I didn't know this. I try to be as informed as humanly possible, but I did not know this. That the legislature actually voted in order to give representatives and senators a certain amount of money so that way they could send out mailers and they could do things to let people know what's going on with the legislature. So you're getting money, taxpayer dollars, so that way you can inform the public about what's going on in the legislature, but we're going to word it that way so that way it doesn't seem like we're just supporting the incumbents. It's mind-blowing to me. And going back to message, so let's go to the individual. I started with this, right? That with this messaging, you talked about the individual that was there, that good person, kind of on the fringe, listening to what it is, wants to be an informed voter.
They're going to vote.
Right.
For Stavola.
Right.
And they told me that I didn't have to, I wasn't trying to win anybody over.
Well, and the question,
I was more curious on asking questions because I've heard people going to vote for Avery as well. Matter of fact, I was sitting on a buddy's porch yesterday. Long story short, he can't get out anymore, really. And I went to visit him yesterday, spent 45 minutes with him, sat with him on his porch, and he had Avery Anderson signs out front. Interestingly enough, there's some family history there, but he's a long embedded person here, and he's an older gentleman, and he will show up to vote. And we didn't even talk about it.
Right.
We didn't say a word about it either which way. We just talked about life and family and health and people that we know, mutual friends,
Right.
And but here I am sitting out in the front yard on a porch and under a beautiful tree with a little breeze coming through. It was a very nice little 45 minutes with two signs out front. And not once did the conversation come up.
Right. Well, and I wonder, going back to this, okay, I have found that in the political arena, let's call it that people that are very, very, very involved and invested, that's the only thing that makes their whole identity. They're not going to have a conversation with me about how my kiddo is or my kiddos are. They don't even know. They don't know anything about me personally. They can assume, but they don't really even know.
Right.
I mean, it's like it's insane to me at the amount of rhetoric that comes out of a certain group, which you can't even nail it down to one because it seems all across the board. This is just how politics works.
It is. It's a nasty thing, right? And it's just it's not my world, right? I mean, I'm on the fringes, if you will.
Right.
I am definitely affiliated or in the mix a little bit, but as far on the edges as I can be, and more that way, right, as time goes, just because I just realize once you see behind the curtains, it's sickening.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've seen some comments, and I want to speak to this a little bit, you know. I don't know. I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable here, right? But I came here in 1998. I came from nothing. Had $200 in my pocket and no family support. Matter of fact, I was working to send money home, right? When I could.
And you mean America, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We got to clarify. Next thing you know, there'll be a political ad about you.
Yeah, they'll be calling me Pocho. Go look that up, guys. Pocho, it's a real thing. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I love it.
I just totally derailed that moment. Didn't I? I'm sorry, Andy.
That's good stuff.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure, because otherwise, you know, I don't know if I want you on the
Get 'em
podcast
coming or
anymore.
going. I'm telling you, I want open borders. You know what I mean? I want no wall.
No wall. Free
love
immigration.
And free.
Yeah, hell yeah.
As a matter of fact, you know, if you're homeless, come to my house. Everybody's invited.
Yeah.
Until that has to happen,
Well,
right?
Yeah,
because the resources don't come from, they just come from serendipity, right? To take care of everybody.
Absolutely.
Anyways, that's so crazy. So lost track, but I think for me coming here and getting brought up in my adult life by this community, I owe it a lot, and it's been very good to me. And frankly, I've been able to bob and weave and try to create my American dream the best I can. And, you know, I've employed lots of people over the years. I've brought in, you know, lots of millions to this area and to this community, you know, through stuff we've created and built, products and business and things. And I'm still looking to do that, right? And I've helped spin up groups that are helping people right now that exist in this community that I've literally helped start from the beginning. And it's up and working, and I haven't touched it for 15 years, one of these groups. And it's served hundreds and hundreds of people that are in need, right? And there's other stuff like that, but I've been able to do some stuff with the people around me and the people that have brought me up and my mentors, just like the guy that I was sitting on the porch with, right? He's 83, I think, and he's been good to me and taught me a lot, and I owe him a lot, and this is his home, and I want to serve it to the best of my ability and take all the stuff and lessons that he's learned, and he's unpacked it and given it to me to go do better, right? And I was able to work on the school board with people that I don't even know what the hell they've done other than hyper focus on one thing, and they get so much support, and they couldn't deal their way out of a paper sack, you know? Right. But there's other people like me that get chastised that have actually done some stuff, right? And still need a lot more, you know, a lot. I fall on my face tomorrow. That's the life I live, right? It's all on me. But then you have other people who can fall, and other people will bring them up and push them along. And it's just so interesting to see the people that get chosen to lead at a high level that have no clue what they're doing.
Right.
Or no ability to put two things together outside of their little environments. And people like myself don't want anything to do with dealing with those types. So how do you operate at a high level with people that are just worried about their anxiety, right, or their own perception in a community? They can't even stand on anything because everything's controversial and everything's political, and they've got their little, this is what I can and can't say box. Yeah. And I stay in these boundaries because this is the political way to do things. I mean, I think those days are over. Those people are going to be found out, maybe, or maybe that's what the system wants, is robots.
Well, it kind of seems like that's what the system wants, Andy. And and when we say the system, right? In my something I always remember is like going back to my academia, right? When you say the system, when you say these people, when you say this group, this organization, then you have to be
the political
specific.
Groups, Republican and Democrat, political leadership.
The political leadership, the individuals, like in our situation,
have, just to be clear, we have two great representatives that I know of right now that are leaders, and they've run businesses, and they're great dudes. I know both of them. I know all three of them, but two of them have done amazing things in their career. And take nothing from them, because I'm grateful for those two guys, but I think they're not as common in the world of state and local politics.
Agreed. Okay, I want to challenge you because I would agree. Okay, but because I have to question my own biases, right?
That's good.
Okay, so for instance, right, and God bless you both. I hope that you understand that I do appreciate you and value you, and if given the opportunity to vote for you, I will again. Okay, and I've been on the fence a little bit about that over the last few weeks based upon their decision to back a certain candidate. So I mean, maybe I should just ask them this, but looking at it from my own biases, I'm really questioning because of who I know they are, who I believe them to be. What exactly is the reasoning behind their support for this other person that's done nothing?
I don't know if it's them. I know my favorite candidate has supported Anderson openly. I don't know. The other one's in a campaign himself,
but also is campaigning for Anderson.
Oh, is he? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah,
so
because people call me. People call me. They say who's on their doorstep, what they're saying.
And I think comfort, right? They know he has a voting record, right, and that voting record is going to be in line with the things that they're trying to accomplish up there, because I don't know all the ins and outs of that world up there, and frankly, I don't want to.
Right.
I know a little bit, but I don't get involved with that stuff because there's so many twists and turns, and I don't have the big master plan in front of me. Neither do I want it. It's just not a place I play ball.
Well, I don't think there is a master plan, to be real honest with you.
Well, there always is at the season of it happening, right?
Agreed.
Because these things can throw wrenches depending on who's coming up and what their vigor is, and they might be a problem.
Right.
And they might be like a Massey.
Yeah.
Right? And they might be like a Marjorie Taylor Greene that just says, screw you. And then, they get thrown to dogs.
Yes.
By the big system.
And and I think the system wants to block those people out.
Because again, what was Massey's problem?
Massey wanted the Epstein files released.
And
he didn't want any new wars.
Debt reduction and no wars.
All the things that Trump said he wanted to do.
And all the things that I want.
America First policies.
Let's talk about the Epstein files.
Wars.
It's a Republican president.
Government transparency.
It's a Republican president. We have majority of people that can get things done. I know it takes time to unfold some of this stuff, but that's something that's been on the table for a while. To be fair to Trump himself as a person, he never really ran on it. It was people around him.
Right.
Because he was going to be the pit bull to just say, screw the system.
Right.
And drain the swamp.
Yeah.
And all these things. And so you have these archetypes, right? And as fast as Massey got pissed on for holding that line, and as fast as the system in Washington turned on him and started messaging against him, even guys like Dan Bongino,
right,
who are on his sack,
right,
who all of a sudden got into the system and is a whole different archetype of an individual now. Right. How that happens, where that comes from, I have no idea. You got a Dan Crenshaw who went up there, and I have his book, signed copy over here, thought, a warrior, American patriot, a hero to me because he served and did some amazing things, got hurt in war, was the top of the tip of the spear of the baddest dudes in the world. And he went up there and broke in a year and a half to 2 years. You could just see it. Right. And it was horrible for me to watch. I'm not happy about that, by the way. I hope he reclaims himself as a American hero and patriot, because he is that. People do things and mess up in circumstances. And I don't know what it takes up there. I don't know how that changes a person. I say, to me, if it happened to a man like Crenshaw, I'm in trouble.
Well, I think it's layers upon layers. Yes, I think it's layers upon layers upon layers. Right?
I want to finish my thought real quick on Massey.
Yeah.
Look at how, and I think this is what we're trying to talk about here, is the way the system turns on you.
Yeah.
So I went from getting 1,800 votes locally to being the number one vote getter because everybody was like, he's going to do these things. And when I kind of started saying, no, that's not what I agreed to. You might have assumed some things,
right,
but I'm going to play it as straight as I can with the information I have and call it what I see it. And I'm not going to try to look for everybody to like me. I want you to, but if that's what it's going to take, then whatever.
Right.
Like, I'm not here to make you happy,
Right.
or that group happy, or that group happy. And the fact that I lost my election and I put 500 signs out, or no, 50 signs, I think it was. That's all that's spent on my campaign, personal.
Right.
50 signs. Because I was tired and, whatever. If
Right,
it
you
happened,
saw
great.
for what it was.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's like, at the end of the day, dealing with crazy, do I want to deal with crazy? Some people, that's their world, right? And I'm done. That's been passed. But the way, I'm glad that both political parties don't like me.
Right. Then you're doing something right.
But I know people that know me know where I am with my morals, my ethics, what I try to do, who I try to be, the people that I love and care about. They all know. And to me, that's all I give a shit about. The rest of it is like it's so ridiculous. Like, I don't care. I'm glad some of those people don't like me. Like, I'm actually like, I'm standing on business.
Yes.
On, you're such a fake ass person.
That if you don't like
on
me,
so many levels. Yeah. That, thank God, people like you repel from me.
I go back to consider the source. It's something that my parents taught me. I don't know. It's embedded in my brain. And it was about, where you find your value, who you find your value with, because that's a big one for us human beings, So if this individual doesn't like you, okay, then go back and consider the source. And then ask yourself, is this a person that I really care what they think?
I want to be clear about something. I don't think they're bad people. I just think they're put in a position to have wants and needs where that world starts fitting that for them, and it gives them identity, and it gives them a feeling of power and purpose, and that's where they build their platform. And I think it's fake and nasty, and it'll twist on you in a turn. And I'm a hugger. I'm a you come in my house, my fridge is your fridge kind of guy.
Right.
You come to my house for a barbecue, you go in and use the bathroom. I'm not going to try to worry about you going and stealing jewelry or money.
Right.
And if you do that, that's on you.
Right.
And if I find out we're done. But at the end of the day, I don't like to be around fake people like that I have to worry. If I can't give you a debit card as you work for our company, you shouldn't be working for our company.
Right. Right.
And when I see you, I'm going to care about your family, and we're probably going to get a hug from me because I'm a genuine, real person. And if I can't be that way with you, then stay the frick away from me.
Well, you have more compassion than me. And I don't, and I'll just say that right up. Like you had mentioned the fact that, you have these individuals and they're not bad people.
They're not bad people.
And
they're just ideologically
Andy,
twisted.
I would have to disagree. I would have to say that in that instance, when we might look at the same person and discern whether or not this person is
I think they do bad things.
Good.
I think they do bad things, but I think at the core, I'm just fine. Most of us,
what we do.
Most people in prison aren't bad people. Dude, they're not. They do bad things. They have bad habits. They have hang-ups. But the overall, bad people, what we say is bad people, are good 95% of the time. We all have issues. Somebody watching porn is not a bad person. They have a bad habit. They have a bad draw. Somebody that's smoking crack for some reason ended up there. That doesn't mean they're all the way bad. They're good most of the time. They just got some vice and some demon in them that they need to deal with. And that they're escaping by this monster that was their avenue to disassociate. Because I think a lot of them are actually really good people that have real deep, dark hurts that feel it with a bad thing. But overall, I can be a bad person. I know what I fight every day and who I can be and what I have to not be to look at these people and think they're cute. Right. If it really came down to it, I would eat them alive.
Right.
And I know that. So I can't look at somebody, Lance, and go, you're bad. Because I will supersede their bad if I let my monster out. And I have to keep it caged. Right. And for me, it's an everyday battle to not take advantage, to not rip people apart, to not hurt people. I try to encourage, I try to build, and I do everything opposite of my natural instinct because I'm a monster and a wolf. And I will eat you. Yeah. But I don't. And that's what makes me a better person. Trust me, they're not bad people for me, in my mind. I know what I can do and I know what I'm capable of. And I look at these people and I go, man, like me, you have issues. Your issue is just You're kind of weird.
Right.
You're over involved with this thing. You let it take your life over. You have no concept of life outside of this sphere that you've created for yourself. You're in your own dungeon, and I feel bad for you because I could be that too.
Okay, so then do you think that comes down to because I'm processing what you're saying real time, right?
Yeah, me too. I'm just saying it off the cuff because that's how I feel, right? This is my real. I'm not a fake person,
and so I agree with you on some level. Okay, I do agree with you on some level that I want to believe, right? What the thing that comes to my mind is that's your worldview.
Yeah,
right?
Mine. Yeah.
So then my worldview is somewhat different, where I understand what you're saying. It's the fact that I'm a real staunch person to say that a believer that we are what we do, right? So for instance, if I go around and I let this drug, right, vice, everything you just said, that's the first order in my opinion. The second order is, what do you do? Well, if being on this drug and you being in your hole or whatever the case may be, I have compassion on that. But then what happens when this causes you to do this? I no longer have compassion on you, right? And nobody is just in the void. So everything that we do is affecting everybody else around us. So then my issue comes with, well, for instance, we'll take it back to politics, okay? Because these, addiction and all this stuff, that's a big topic, right?
Well,
and politics is a big
wants
topic.
us to make people bad people. And this is my point. I'll listen. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, and this might feed into it, but you take these individuals that we're talking about that are in these echo chambers, right? And it's like, well, a good person doesn't gossip and go out and smear somebody's name knowing that what they're saying isn't true. And I believe quite oftentimes they know that's the case and that the ends justify the means. So if you have people that are completely self-absorbed, completely self-indulgent, well, the end justifies the means for them to do any kind of thing that is morally detestable, mentally detestable, societally detestable in order to get what they want. And it goes back to this big picture government. We have a two-party system that has designed a system in order for them to always be able to keep the two-party system solvent. That's why I call it the uniparty. And so then these systems are made up of people which then operate in this way. And if you operate outside of this way, whatever that dictate is at that point in time, which is a completely revolving thing, but ultimately is just utilizing this system in order to get what I want. I want government to dictate onto other people. I want government to do for me, and I want government to dictate what I want onto other people. Forget their rights, right? Forget what they believe. Forget the fact that they see things differently. I don't care. I want to get in my silo. I want to get in my echo chamber, and we're going to work together. And wink, wink goes back to that. It's okay to do all this. It's okay.
Hence the Epstein files aren't released because they're both doing it. They're both doing it.
Exactly.
They're both doing it.
We're going to release the Epstein files, and then you know what you have?
Epstein's a bad person.
Yes, and
just
then,
for the record.
Well, and then everybody that surrounds themselves.
They're bad people.
Bad people, right? Which are made up of a good portion of our government.
Anybody can hurt a child's a bad person.
Right. Something we all agree on.
Yeah.
Surely.
That's a no-brainer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you take this, for instance, and you've got this thing, it goes into, once again, this question that I have with people, and it's you see it time and time and time again. I'm going to drain the swamp. No new wars. We're going to do America first. We're going to lower gas prices. We're going to lower your taxes. We're going to cause inflation to stagnate or go down. We're going to make sure that the rest of the world respects us. We're going to do all of this stuff. We're going to release the Epstein files. And when all that just goes to naught.
And we're in war. No files have been released. Other people are making money hand over fist.
Even now, insider trading.
Way more than what was happening. I mean,
Right.
Hunter Biden's $20 million is peanuts compared to what's being made right now out in the marketplace, and the contracts, the government contracts, the $500 million+ contracts that are getting gained by people. Because it's like, if you can't beat them, join them, and that's exactly what's happening.
And it's almost like a political ad, right? Like I just said in the beginning.
It's so crazy.
All this, and then all of a sudden, but it's not their fault. And they're playing 5D chess. I haven't heard that in a while. And you ask these people that like, you can go up to somebody and you can say, why did you vote for Trump? And they say, because he's going to drain the swamp. He's going to cause inflation to go down. He's going to pull back from wars, America First policy. And then you confront them with it and say, Well, are we at war with Iran? Yeah, but that's different. You don't understand. They can't get a nuke. Or this most recent thing I saw with Pete Hegseth being questioned about his own words. I thought you said day 3 that Iran was completely obliterated and that they didn't have any nuclear warheads and that they didn't have their military was completely obliterated. They can't do anything to anybody. Well, but if you look at it and define it the way I said, then of course that makes sense. It's, these people are going after Hegseth. He's a man's man. He's a this and he's a that, and it's like, look how much he can bench, and it's like fake 45 weights. I mean, it's crazy.
Theater. It's theater.
It's crazy.
They fall for the theater.
And to me, crazy is a very general term, so I have to say, okay, well, crazy is a very general term that we often use to describe some sort of a mental health problem or a condition, which is somebody operating, or they're not in the norm, and then you ask what's normal, but let's say these diagnosable conditions. What is it, Andy? What is it?
Yeah, I want to backtrack here real quick with something that I think is important for me to explain thoroughly. I look at our local people, and I don't think they're bad people. I think they do some sketchy things sometimes, and they get in their own think, and they make commitments to people, and they stand on things, and I don't think some of that's not bad. Hey, you gave somebody your word on something, you're going to follow through even though it makes you look bad. That's on you, not being able to explain yourself out of that, right? Or committing to something that you weren't able to really push through at some point. But if I really think somebody's a bad person, like a Jeffrey Epstein or a child abuser, once you get on my radar, I can be a worse person.
Right.
And I try not to do that to people, for me and for them, but for me, because I can't live in that world, because I won't stop, right? And especially if it's local and it's threatening my community, I'm responsible to help take care of that, right? So just saying that, just to clarify, when I look at these people, we all have quirks and bad things and do bad stuff, but when you really get to the evil part of it, I just think inexperience and social emotional issues and lack of knowledge, or getting pushed in the position you're not supposed to be, but then liking the title and not realizing that that's driving you because you're just not all there, or you don't have the tools and you think you do, or you're trying to pretend you do, and you don't realize that most people can see it, and you're trying to live in that space. It's like, it just doesn't look good, but it doesn't mean they're bad people, right? In my mind.
Yeah.
So I just worry about us vilifying, like this ads are doing, good people that are trying to do good things, and families, family-oriented people who are getting beat up online right now. Mike's a good man. He's a good dude. He has a good family, and they're good people, and he has 2 beautiful children that are growing up here, and they could probably go a lot of places and do a lot of things with their skill sets and talents and make more money, but they're choosing to be here and choosing to fight next to us. And I just hate to see people from outside of here tearing those people up. And if you have some scummy stuff in your past that you're worried about, or you've been in police reports and all this stuff, and you've had some issues, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. You need to clean it up, and if the Anderson camp wins this primary and moves forward, I hope that's an opportunity for him to really step into the community and be seen and known,
right,
and not be so absent on the day-to-day out here. It's the difference between being in the Lions Club and paying your dues than actually being a Lion, and actually walking in the parades and serving and going and standing at a gate and humbling yourself and not thinking you're better than everybody else, because that's what comes across when you're not out here serving.
Right.
It's, you're too good to come here, but you can come right after a meeting starts and leave right before it's over, and then you're on your way to go somewhere cool. And if that's the aura you want to put across, cool, but just know that people like me are like, okay, it just doesn't come across right.
Like I'm okay to step on you as I step up, but I'm not here to lock arm in arm with you.
No.
In order to accomplish that.
And that's the reputation, but you can change that. Yeah. And I hope, because if Avery doesn't change that moving forward, I think this will be his last run unless he finds another way to get through, right? Because now things are out there. He was challenged. People realize he hasn't been around serving, volunteering. And if he is, I don't know, prove me wrong, but I'm out here, right? I'm out there. I'm out mowing for neighbors. I'm out hanging out with my elderly. I'm serving kids. I've coached teams, right? I've donated to things that even when it's hard for me to do that personally, right? I've sacrificed for people around me, and that's the one thing I think Stavola has is he has people that understand he's out in the community, and that makes a big difference.
Right.
And that's literally what we need at that level, right? And I can't say, you go to Mike and Steve and how much they do for their community, how many jobs they've created, and how much they pour back in. I mean, you're talking, and I don't want to put them out there, but I know it's tens of thousands of dollars of service, not just in time, but actual, treasure that they give back.
I would err to say probably more than that. You say tens of thousands, I'd probably say hundreds.
I don't want to. But you want to be, because I'm a part of some outside things, and I know a little bit, not even the big picture of what they do, but I know enough to know like my little bit that goes into some things that they support is nothing compared to what they're doing. But they don't go and talk about it. They don't pay out their chest, but people know. That's why they get supported. People know. It's like, man, they're not only good people, they give back and they're available. I could call either one of them and they'll probably take my call. You know what I mean? Or if I send them an email, I'm probably getting an email back, especially if they know I put time into it and it's well worded, right? That, this is important to him. I'm going to get back to him. And those things are important to people. And it doesn't mean that it's all over. It just means that you can change and you can grow. But some of that means get elbow to elbow and kneecap to kneecap with people and let us know who you really are, not what the ads think you are.
And I would have to say that when it comes down to that, because we're going, micro and not macro, is, you have an option for two different candidates, right? And one has a heart to serve, and then their heart to serve has led them in this direction. The other one wants to be a politician. I don't know if you can ever change somebody's heart to want to serve, Andy. If that was not initially what I was here for, and this is not initially why I showed up to the event to be able to help somebody in some way, I don't know if you can really change that.
And there's one other thing I don't know if we have time to get to, but do we have time?
Yeah, we have a few minutes.
Okay, because and I like how you put that, and I think. To be fair for us,
I guess
Avery might not like this conversation because of what we're saying. This is actually just good feedback. Yeah. It's not. But
that's not how it's going to be viewed.
And that's okay. Right? I don't care, right? I'm just saying what's the truth for me. And so, but what I am saying is that at the end of the day, when you are a politician, you open yourself up like I did when I was in that world, and I'm still here doing it. Bring it on. For that kind of confirmation or information, and I take that feedback because you're in the arena, dude.
Right.
People are going to talk trash. Don't get your feelings hurt when somebody says something.
Right.
Don't live differently if you don't like the stuff that people are saying. Even if there's an inkling of it out there, change. And if you want to be a politician, you got to get better at doing that, because this is a really low level of survival in politics.
Right.
In this district.
Yeah, imagine trying to go up.
Come on.
What would that happen?
Well, and you're only in Kansas here, which is a small state.
Yes, and then here's another thing, right? What I find so interesting about this little election cycle, and I've said it before, is it seems as though there is so much, man. As well. Just mailer after mailer, smut after smut, this, that, personal attack ads, all this. Well, the difference here is that you're not at a level where people don't know you, right? Like let's go from Michael Stavola. People in the community know him. He serves alongside people, and you're doing this, and this is okay. So this is very, very localized, right?
Right.
So some of those attacks can be what do you call it? Going either way can be mitigated based upon relationships of community.
Right.
But you get to governor's race, and you talk about Stacey Rogers and Vicky Schmidt and Ty Masterson and all this. Everything that has transpired right here would be a death nail for both of them to go higher.
Ain't that something?
Because people wouldn't know Michael. They would believe the messaging that's sent to them, and they would have nothing to really base off of anything that what they're seeing and reading is correct or not correct. And then same thing goes with Avery. All the stuff that's coming out about Avery. Right? People Go to the next level. They don't know Avery. They don't have a relationship with him. They don't know his grandpa. They don't know anything about nothing. They didn't. Once you go from the small pond to the big pond, then people don't know you. And the type of friction that's been created here, in my opinion, the type of stuff that's been brought up of these hate one way and hate the other, it's tanked them both.
Yeah, it's hurt both.
It's tanked them both. Because this will just continue to resurface. And if you try to go from this localized level that you may or may not win on,
here's
and
the
you
other
go to the
part,
next
right?
one, you're not going to be able to make it.
I'm one that likes term limits.
I agree.
I think there could be a lot of issues when somebody stays in a world, especially like up the higher levels in Washington and at the state level too long. You get in that little ecosystem, in that world of let's make this into something else. And sometimes to survive, you have to. You got to get creative and figure out how to make money. And then all of a sudden you find a gap and you turn it into $200 million like a Nancy Pelosi and like Elon Omar with 35 million, and then all of a sudden it's nothing when they start investigating and all the dirt that comes with that, right? And she hadn't even been in that long, but imagine if she stays in another 30 years.
Right.
What do you figure out when that story dies and she has the tools and the ability and they know she's down to do it, right? To go make that dirty money off of taxpayers, and then all the stuff Nick Shirley's pushing out there, right? Where he's just going to these places and all the tens of millions of dollars.
And people are hating him, boy, you know.
For what?
Because
right?
I think
isn't that crazy?
Well, and I think the same thing happens here, okay? Because like you had mentioned, this conversation is fluid, right? You say like my worldview is that I think one thing we talked about it. It's not to regurgitate it for sake of time, and you have more compassion, right? And so then I look at, well, what could be my responsibility to help my community, and it would be what I'm doing right now, okay? But the amount of hatred that comes this way, based upon what I'm trying to accomplish, which is just educate and inform people, and even people know me well enough by now.
It's growing though.
Yeah, the hatred.
Yeah, because people are realizing that there's more.
It's like you're saying things I don't like. I hate you. You know?
And you can't say it, and you're exercising the same rights that they say we should have, but yet they hate you for it.
And here's the thing: the funny thing is, and that's the thing. That's the funny thing to me. This is what I've realized throughout this. I actually, while I was running for election, had somebody come up to my car one time, stand in front of my car, and then run back to their car real fast and act like they were rummaging around for something, and then ran back to my car real fast and then kicked my car and was yelling profanity at me and flipping me off. And I just thought, you don't even know I'm locked and loaded right now, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come up to my window and just God, don't come up to my window.
Yeah, I don't want to have to shoot you.
But this is the reality of it but besides that, right? Besides a few little instances or whatever.
I've had a couple of those.
Words. Oh, words. It's like, if you don't like what I say, you don't like what I'm about, turn it off. You're not bothering me none, because I'm not doing it for a closed-minded person that's not willing to hear my perspective, whether they agree with me or don't agree with me, or do something about it. And you know what? Probably neither one are going to happen.
Yeah. Well, the freedom of speech thing is huge for us to be able to have these conversations on a local level, because who else is talking this raw about things?
Nobody.
Not a one. And people will be scared to do it because of whatever, right? I mean, I don't. I care, but I don't, as long as I'm just able to stand on what I say.
Right.
And I will. And I want everybody to do well. Right. The people that know me know that. I try to build bridges when I shouldn't. And it works more times than it doesn't. And I realize I got a knack for that. And so I have a heart for people because I know who I can be and I know who I don't want to be. And it helps me stay grounded, frankly. And at the end of the day, I watch these two guys and I'm watching this campaign go, and I've already made my decision. I checked my box a couple days ago, and I'm listening to friends and kind of curious on why people are voting certain ways and what they're hearing, and reverse engineering the message and looking at the little keywords on this flyer that I got. It's so fake, but it's he could vote differently. He might do. And it's like, yeah. And so what? So the same people that are supporting, do they support term limits? And if so, what does that look like and at what levels? And let's really have that talk.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's not talk about that right now because let's be reactive.
Yes.
And only deal with this now. Because now we have a guy starting out saying, I'm putting 4 years on this. Can you be productive in 4 years? Probably not. But hey, at least he's being straight up. And if he goes more than 4, then he's giving us something to call us on.
Right.
And you know what? I don't want career politicians around me.
Me neither.
I want people that are going to move up, stay somewhere for a little while, learn, move up, stay a little while, learn, get to a certain point, accomplish your goal, and bail. And tell us what that goal is and why you're doing it.
Right.
Because if you don't have a center focus and you don't have the ability to recruit and build people with you to move forward, you won't get anything done. Is it that simple? No. But why? Because people make things contrived and complex to confuse the populace so they can go do what they're doing right now. And it's become a freaking mess, dude.
It is a
I mean,
mess.
look at Washington. Again, look back at Massey. He was a Republican darling.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I'll say it again. Republican darling to all these people that are supporting other stuff. And once you stay to your message and you don't go with the group, look what happens. What decent human being wants to be a part of that at that level? I just don't understand. And if you're not there pulling the sled for the thing and you leave and it changes a year or two later, is it really worth most operators to do that? Unless they have a conviction from God themselves, I don't think most people that have the talent to get things done would want to do it.
Right.
We're just going to do what we do in the private sector and then try to influence the things we think are best with our side money.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, it's like, where are you best suited? So I did want to talk about data centers. I know we don't have time.
Yeah, we can, on next week on the program, we'll talk about data centers.
I'm real curious to see how that goes.
Like, one of the reasons why I brought up data centers was the fact that right now, there is a big push amongst Republicans, right? To be opposed to data centers.
Right.
And it seems...
It's one of the talking points.
But it also seems like that's something that the left is agreeing on. Right, so I watched a campaign ad that came out that was for Trump, and it was Trump is for data centers, and this is how it went. Right, the Democrats are against data centers, and we need data centers. These demon dirty Democrats want data centers banned, and they want it banned so that way China can surpass us in technology and infrastructure and artificial intelligence. But Trump supports data centers, so we won't let those dirty Democrats be getting China to take over our country. God bless America. It's insane. And then I asked it, like, who's sitting here watching this? I can't believe them dumb, dirty Democrats are over here trying to stop Trump from having data centers. Now, yesterday I was against data centers, but today, since I found out Trump is for data centers, I'm for data centers too. Last word, Andy.
That was good. Oh, man. You know, these cycles will come and go. Just know that there's a lot of money being spent to manipulate you out there, to my community. Go talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, spend a little bit of time to understand what's happening in your local community. And the best way to do that is get out, find an organization, volunteer, give just a little bit of your time, even if it's one weekend out of the month. And you'll start learning a lot more about your community. And we need those boots on the ground. And the biggest need right now is find a place that's serving children and go put some time into serving that place. That's all I got.
They're our future. And on my final word, I just wanted to say a little something here. You know, First Amendment free speech, right? Many of us think that has to do with us, my free speech. But what they often forget is that there is forms, right, of areas and avenues in which you can project your free speech. And it's more so now than ever before. So, for instance, newspapers, writing articles, those were ways that free speech was given a leg up. And so you have newspapers, books, literature for many, many, many years that have allowed for people's individual First Amendment free speech right to be projected to the rest of the world. Now, with the advent of technology, this is another way. And podcasting, going out on the digital platform is parallel to writing things in a newspaper or writing a book. You can do that via this medium, and that's what we're doing. That's what we are doing right here, right now. And so similarly, the parallels are so close that I want to remind people here, okay? Especially when it comes to advertising, folks. Not everything that is written in a paper by an individual represents the advertisement or the company that uses that medium in which to advertise. They're just doing it for views. Over here, we've had a lot more people reach out when it comes to advertising. And if you've noticed, we've stuck to pretty much the same advertising that we have to this point. And the reason why is because these people understand and know, and I can be assured and know that it doesn't matter what I say on this program. They get it. It's like a parallel to a newspaper. They know that if they put their ad in the newspaper, that doesn't mean that they're for or against what somebody writes in the newspaper, or whether it's one slighted one way or the other. So they simply just tell people, I'm just advertising with them for the views, because I want to protect people that are choosing to advertise with me, right? So just so you're aware, and I'll say it one time and one time only. I can say it every time. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I feel like one time is enough. Probably not, because one time is never enough. But the people that advertise with us do not agree or disagree with the content of the program. They're just advertising because of the viewership that they get. It's more effective, it's more efficient than a newspaper. Okay? Advertising with us places you into a medium in which your advertisement remains forever. It does not get thrown away in the trash once somebody's done reading that paper. And then the way we advertise as well is not you amongst 100, it's you amongst 3. Have a good one, everybody.